Looks like we are live. We'll find out in a second. In three, two, one, we're live. Right. This week, it was a bit of a late notice podcast. I realised I hadn't done one a week, so I thought I would bring on listen, he's been sneaking around in the background of podcasts and in the groups, and he's all over social media. And because I'm a social media mong, I don't really do any social media whatsoever. I sort of missed out on the hype train that is Richard Cockerline.
Nice way to say that.
It is though, like you're quite heavy into the content, ain't you?
I try. It's a bit basic. It's a bit raw, but I'm not up to Bundy's standard. But I do what I just enjoy it and record it once, put it out. If it's crap, oh, shit.
But is that?
If,
Do you think that's what it is though? Like, do you think? I think a lot of people prefer the raw side of it.
yeah,
Like when you look at
sometimes
like
go
the
on.
number one podcaster from the UK at the moment is probably Matt Armstrong. And although he's got this slick outfit going on and stuff, you look at his videos, it's still just a geezer holding a phone. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's heavily edited stuff. It's all right, but you soon get. But you know it's edited. You can see they've got a team behind them. They've got a cameraman and a sound man. Someone edited him for him. I've got my phone, and that's it.
Well, this is it. And I think with things like that, I think that sort of guerrilla style on the job with your type of content is really, for me, that's my favorite type of content. When you've got like a sound guy, you've got a producer, you've got someone taking shots from four different angles and then putting it all together post. I feel like, yeah, it's nice to watch, but I don't know if it's as believable as whilst you're fanning about in a hole with a camera trying to video yourself do something awkward. That's when it gets
Yeah,
more difficult.
it's like I'm same as you. I'm a subby, so I'm getting paid to work. I'm not getting paid to make content. So I've got to stick my camera up, put it on record, and do my day's work. You can't be moving it around from one place to another, trying different angles, re-recording it and re-recording it. It's a one-hit wonder. Get it
So,
done and put it on.
so you're a subby, what, commercial industrial subby?
Commercial, industrial, predominantly, I call it a bit posh. Life safety systems, so it's fire alarms, disabled refuge,
Yeah, yeah.
um, toilet alarms. We do security, door access, CCTV, stuff like that. We do proper sparking as well when we do shop fitting. So we do power, lighting, data, everything, all your metal munching, everything like that. When we do fire alarm stuff, we do get looked after because we normally get a team of sparks in to do all containment for us. But yeah, I'm just on sites everywhere. At the minute, I'm in a scrapyard up near Newcastle. We're on Leeds Bradford Airport.
Yeah, I'd
Some
love to work in a
apartment.
scrapyard. I'm obsessed with scrapyards. Honestly,
It's
obsessed.
That's what I love about this though. The places you get to work, it's like working on an episode of how it's made. The factories and all the places. I mean, we're in Bradford Hospital. I mean, you've done the hospitals as well, haven't you?
Loads.
They're a nightmare to work in, aren't they?
Well, we had it quite well. Like it wasn't too bad, but I know what you mean. They can be terrible to work in.
Well, all the wards that we're on are full of patients.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. I would not want to work like that at all.
No, especially some ones with loopy patients on, with screaming and shouting and throwing shit and stuff. It's
No,
it's not for
I'm
me.
I'm not on that. But when we was working, I was doing the medical imaging stuff, and it would just be one room. So a lot of the time, we worked on one new hospital that was being built. It's being built on the site of an old B&Q, funnily enough. And then they refitted it for a hospital. But on a lot of them, it would just be a room like the MRI room. They'd strip that out. We'd go in there, put our stuff in, and that's exactly what we did. So we was quite isolated from the rest of the hospital 90% of the time. So it's all good, really. I
Yeah,
quite enjoyed that.
I,
The
I, it is good where you can just get in a room, get a set of drawings, and just say,
That's the
right,
one.
crack on. That's what you've got to do, and they just leave you to it and let you do it.
That's the one. And I think for me, the number one stuff I love to do more than anything else is intake rooms. Like and give me everything in that intake room. Give me the BMS, give me the control panels, the whole lot. I'll do the whole lot, start to finish. All of the containment, wiring, the whole lot. I will be happy as Larry because I can set up my bench, I can set up everything I need, get all my materials down there, and you could just leave me down there for a couple of months and then come back down and it'll be done. I absolutely love that. And the last couple of jobs I've been getting quite a lot of intake rooms. I've just gone onto this job now, which I got last week. Really good job this is. Jamie used to work on these they're like battery storage facilities.
Yeah,
So they're like a couple of containers in the middle of nowhere, and then they've
yeah.
got like a
I've worked.
connection to the DNO.
Yeah, I've put fire systems into them.
So they've got these ones. I can't say where, but they've got these ones, and they've done the initial installation of all the control panels, and they've wired all the control panels really badly. They're not wrong. They're just not all loomed nicely. It's not all been loomed properly. So I've gone in and had to pull it all out and reloom everything. And for me, that is a fucking one-off type of job. You very rarely
Yeah,
get a job where you can go in and reloom the control panels, but you're on a time limit. Like you've got to get them done in a certain amount of time, so you can't do it to the best standard possible. Like I would love to be able to make sure that every cable sits on top of the other one and stuff like that. You just can't do it on this. You've got to get it loomed to a very decent standard and get it all tied in. That's the most they want. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm
yeah,
really enjoying it. So just another skill, another feather to the bow. It's just this is what I mean. We're very lucky in what we do. Like obviously I do my house bashing. I still got my company that I do local stuff with, but the house bashing, it pales in comparison to what we do.
I looked at a job yesterday to do some work for a friend, house bashing, and I looked at it and I thought, I don't want to do it, but he's a friend, so I'm going to do it for him. And it just keeps your hand in, doesn't it? We doing different stuff. Keeps your brain ticking over, remembering how to do house bashing. If you don't do it regular like me, only time I really do it is at home.
For me though, with house bashing, I tend to only do certain types of jobs. So I will only do small jobs, non-notifiable generally, like changing light fittings and putting an extra socket here, and it's just stuff like that.
Yeah,
Stuff that I don't need to be too bothered about. Just bread and butter, what I call low-hanging fruit. So
that's what I do.
if I can go and fit someone's a new light fitting they've just got from IKEA for 50 quid, that's like, and it takes me 20 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, mate. That's low hanging fruit for me. That's for 350 quid. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I went on Saturday. I fixed a light for him. Neutral just snapped it back at fitting. So I was longer drinking my cup of coffee than I was doing job. I was talking to my mate. He says, "Oh, what did you charge?" I said, "It's a mate. I'm going to charge him for work I do anyway." So he gave me some beers and a bit of cash. He says, "Oh, I'd have been 110 quid for that." I'm like, I'm in the wrong game if that's what you're getting for
Oh, mate, yeah.
that
Like
sort of job.
where I am is not. There's not a lot of money around here, so I could probably get away with charging 80 quid, but I wouldn't get as much work.
Yeah,
You couldn't get away with charging £110. No way around here. You just wouldn't get any work. Um, so I just do 50 quid. I'm happy with that. None of my work locally is further away than 10 minutes. So who cares? Like,
yeah,
drive there, a free £50. Thank you very much. Drive home. I've got 50 quid I can go and spend on, I don't know, probably my daughter. She always
yeah.
ends up with my money.
Well, I say if it had been someone I didn't know, if it weren't a friend, I'd have gone at like 50 or 60 quid. But because they're a mate, you do them a favour because they've done me favours in the past.
Well, I have a very strict rule when it comes to working for friends and family. Either I do it for free and they help, or I charge them full price. I never charge in the middle because in the
Yeah,
middle always ends up costing me money and it pisses me off. I would rather just do it for nothing and do it with them and have a laugh with my mate, or
yeah,
I'm charging full price. It's that simple. There's no
yeah.
in betweens.
With my family, I've got a couple of uncles. Most of my family are in trades. So I'll go and do a day's work for them. they'll come and do a
Yeah.
day's work for me.
See, I don't like me
And
and my
that's how
brother.
we do it.
My brother's a really good builder, but he wouldn't charge me and I wouldn't charge him. So that's a funny one. Yeah, it's a funny old thing. Like, I don't really have that many friends. So I don't have like all a big
Why am I
family.
surprised?
I am too, actually. No, I'm quite antisocial if I'm honest. I do this podcast and it might seem like I like talking and being friendly. I really don't.
Yeah, but you're still on your own, aren't you? You've not got anyone with you.
Well, I had Jamie for 2 years, didn't I?
Yeah,
Had to put up with him.
yeah. You had Nick before him. You got and then Rick.
Yeah, oh Rick. I haven't spoken to Rick for ages. I know he's doing really well working with Neil.
No,
That's really nice.
I spoke to him. Probably 2 years since I spoke to him.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Yeah,
I'm really pleased for him actually because he's smashing it. He's filling with some good people, and that's great. Um, so where was we? What was he talking about? Subbing. Now,
yeah.
with the subbing, now you like you would have encountered agency work over the years subbing.
Never worked for an agency.
So why is that? What have you done differently to not encounter agencies? And don't say it's because I'm good, because that don't mean shit.
No, it took me 18 months because I retrained to be a spark at 30.
Oh, he's a boil in the bag spark.
4.5 years at college.
No, he done it in 3 weeks.
Yeah, 4.5 years of night school
Yeah,
to get me, performing engineering operations, 2330 level 2 and 3, 18th edition. And then I've gone on and done me MVQ, AM2, gold card. I've got my 2391 coming up next month. I've finally got around to doing that. So I was 18 months ish trying to find a job because no one wanted to take on
no,
what 30 odd year old, and it was just a dad in my daughter's dance school said, "My boss is after someone for 4 weeks. It'll give you a bit of experience." So I worked with him for 4 weeks in November. He said, "Do you want to stop till December?" Stop till December. "Do you want to stop till end of job?" And it was a new builds uni, and we were doing pyro. Now they don't teach pyro anymore, or at least they didn't when I were at college.
no.
And he's like, "Can you do pyro?" I said, I've done it once because my lecturer came in who was still on tools and said, "In case you ever come across it, this is how you do it." By end of job, I must have made 1,500 ends off. And I was
Wow.
pretty decent at it. And so I stopped. That was 2014. And I've been subbing predominantly to him. Well, now he's died, his son's taken over, to that firm all this time. And then going off and if they've had a quiet period, I've gone off and found other firms to go and work with for a bit and then come back to them.
Yeah,
So
no,
in a way, I'm employed by them, but I'm not because I'm still a sub. If you know what I mean, it's a funny one. I, I don't know. It's easy for them. It's easy for me. If I want a day off, I just am having a day off.
yeah. So for me, it's a funny one because I started out, um, yeah, I started out working on the London circuit quite quickly. So it was a friend of mine. I was training at the time, and the guy that there he said, "Come and work with me as an electrician's mate." And I was like, "Yeah, fine." It was quite good money at the time. It was like 500 quid a week just then, and
Yeah,
it was I literally had no qualifications, nothing. Just turned up, done some labouring, um, done some tube stuff like that. Nothing too strenuous, and it was brilliant. And I was like, "Wow, this is something I could do." And then someone come over and showed me their gold card and said, "You'll never have one of them." And I was like, "Watch this space." I went and got one. Now, for me, um, they only employed agency. So a lot of the companies in London at the time, they would only take agency guys. They didn't take
yeah,
anyone direct. They just didn't want a headache. So they only had people who were subbing through the agency. And that was for a company called M&M. And yeah, I worked with them for a while, on and off over the years. I've gone back to them a couple of times, but they had a reputation for paying really badly. Like if it was say the rate at the time was £15 an hour, they was paying £12.50 an hour, but they always had work.
yeah,
So yeah, so and then obviously when work started kicking off in London again, you could just phone up any agency. You could have work the next day and it would be 17, 18 quid an hour, work the next day, anywhere in London. It was unbelievable for a period. So no one, like everyone wanted to be taken on by the company to like as a direct subby, but none of the companies were doing it.
Yeah,
Very few were doing it, and then it just sort of evolved into that. And then now, probably the last quite a few jobs actually have all been direct because a lot of companies are moving away from agency work.
yeah. It's
Which
like the one we're on when we've been on Leeds Bradford and that. They the M&E contractors, they've got a few lads that are direct that are good and know the stuff, and then the agency lot, it's a miss for what turns up. So they tried to keep a core of decent sparks that can run areas or run bits of the site that are really good and know the gear. And then agency lads come in and just do the stuff. And now you do get some good agency lads, but when we've had some terrible ones when we've needed extra help.
well, this is the thing. Agency is Russian roulette. So I also run a WhatsApp group for electricians in Kent. So when I moved down to Kent, there wasn't much work and stuff like that. So I thought if I make a local group, we can job share. So if any jobs come in, people share it. So it's actually taken off quite well. And I think there's 400, maybe 450 sparks in that group. Now I get a lot of people who I work for saying, "Oh, can I recruit from your group?" And it's fine, yeah, you can. But like I say to them, I don't vouch for anyone in that group,
Yeah,
and that group is Russian roulette. It's the same as going to an agency. The only thing is you ain't paying agency prices, so take it as you will. And like, yeah, some of the people and quite a lot of the people in there are pretty good. But like I say, I haven't worked with all of them. I can't vouch for them. Come on, can I?
no, no. I say the same. If someone says to me, "Can you do you know anyone who can come and give me a hand?" Or whatever, I say, "These are the few numbers of people that I know. I'm not going to say they're the best. I'm not going to say they're the worst. It's up to you to judge them when they turn up. If they're good, keep them. If they're crap, get rid of them."
Do you know my
It's
biggest thing is when people turn up and they don't have tools. It
yeah,
drives me potty. Like, here's the thing, and this might seem like a strange rule that I have. If you say you come to work with me tomorrow, right, and you need to buy my SDS drill to put in a couple of 5.5s, I'm like, yeah, fine, because I know that you've got your own SDS drill, you've just left it at home, so I can lend that to you, and it's fine. But the reason I begrudge lending it to you if you haven't got one, because now you're earning your money off of my
yeah,
tools. Go fuck yourself. If you
yeah,
can't go and buy an SDS drill in this day and age, it's not like it was like 25 years ago. Like an SDS drill, the only ones about were the Bosch ones, and they were £600-700. I got it. Or you got a one on a lead, like a
yeah.
110 drill. Outside of that, go fuck yourself. And
No,
that and that for me is across all tools.
yeah. I turn up. I've got SDS, combi drill, impact driver, grinder, multi tool, circular saw.
Jigsaw.
Um, I haven't got a jigsaw. Mine's packed in. I need to get a new one.
But here's the thing, you
Uh,
go out and buy one tomorrow. It's not a problem.
yeah, I get one, and then I've got 2 or 3 tool bags full of hand tools of every sort of thing that you couldn't think of that you need. I probably carry far too much with me, but just in case I need it.
It's like me. I turn up with my truck. On my truck, I have my own set of steps. I have laser.
Yeah,
Um, I have a fold-out table. I have like cable jacks. I have all the stuff that a contractor should have. I have on there. Whether I'm going to use it on your job remains to be seen. Because if everyone on that job's not got tools, I ain't getting mine out. You're
yeah,
mad. I'll do what I'm doing and I'll get out tools that make my life easier. But I don't lend them. I don't lend them out to anyone. And it's not because I'm trying to be a prick. But if I turn up with my tools and you don't have any tools, but you want to make your money using my tools, that's not going to happen. Because how
no.
much are you going to pay me for my tools then?
If they break it, you're knackered.
Exactly. And I'm the guy. Like if I went onto your job and I didn't have a multi tool, for instance, and I was like, "Oh, can I borrow it for a sec?" Tomorrow I'd have a multi tool
Yeah. Well,
because
that's that to new starters that because I talk to a lot of apprentices and that, and they say, "What do you need?" Say, "You've got to borrow it more than twice. You need to go and buy one."
yep, yep, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But like that's the other thing. If I haven't got something with me, I'm a little bit embarrassed if I haven't got my tool. Like I'm like
Yeah,
fucking hell. How do I need to fucking borrow a combi drill, for instance? But I know I've left my combi drill in the shed from fucking about with something over the weekend.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh, I need to borrow your combi drill, mate. I've left mine at home. And then you look like that guy.
yeah. Well, they come and said, "Have you got? Can I borrow your tester?" So, "Why was yours?" "Oh, I ain't got one." So, "No,
Nah, not a chance. Not a
no,
chance.
no. You got a multimeter I can borrow?" "No, I ain't got one." I just said, "No, I ain't got it. It's at home." And I know it's in my bag, but they're
I
not
just
borrowing
say,
it.
no, I say exactly what you said. Where's yours? And if they haven't got one at home, they're not borrowing it.
Yeah,
It's not, I'm not interested. I'm not lending no one nothing if they ain't got it. It's that simple.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so you're doing a lot of subbing on the old electric and not so much electrical though. So you're doing a lot more fire and security stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We tend to get because we work for two or three bigger companies that do that. That's their main bread and butter. So it's good. It's easy. It's not. Some of it's a bit hard, but it gets you into some really interesting places that you get to go and work in. Uh, Whereas if I were just doing proper sparking, I might not get into them places because there's that many sparks out there after jobs to get in. We're a bit more of a niche element trade sort of thing going on. I know people look down on us. We're not fire alarm engineers. We're proper sparks that do fire alarms.
Yeah, there is a difference to that as well. And it means that you can turn your hand to everything. Where a lot of fire alarm engineers, a lot of security engineers, they haven't got a clue about the electrical side. They know
No,
their side. They know how to run in a couple of heads as quick as possible. They know how to wire up a camera or RJ45 stuff. Outside of that, they are a little bit stuck when it comes to wiring.
yeah. Someone says we're putting a panel on the wall. We need a spare. I can do it.
Yeah, they can't.
No.
No, and they'll
Uh,
struggle with it.
yeah. It's just a different. I quite enjoy it. Like I say, I enjoy what I do, which is a bonus really. Because if you go to work and you're miserable, it's an awful thing. So going to
Yeah.
work and enjoying it's nice most of the time.
So for me, it's a funny thing. I'm quite miserable a lot of the time when I go to work. Sometimes I actually hate going to work, and then sometimes I love it. Like the job I've got at the moment, I'm really enjoying it. But the job before, I really enjoyed it. So I've been all right lately, but it don't take a lot for me to be a right miserable bastard at work and just hate every single second of my day. That's really
Yeah.
bad.
I think sometimes it can if you like we both work on sites, you'll get a shit site manager or you get an health and safety who's a bit of an Hitler. It can just turn the job straight away. And you think, God, I don't want to be on this site anymore because you dread going to work. Job can be good, but it's them that are above you that are breathing down your neck or saying what you've done is wrong, even though you know it's right. Um,
I usually find with fucking large sites, you always get one dickhead, and that dickhead always finds me.
it's always tier one sites.
Always comes to me on site, and always fucking starts digging me out. And I
Yeah,
don't know if it's a victim mentality I've got, but in the end, it never works out well. So as soon as that dickhead starts, I might as well leave.
yeah. You go. I mean, it's different for me because I will go home and then come back the day after and just avoid them because I want to be on site and get job done. But yeah, I don't understand them either. Why they have to be that way?
I don't know. I don't know. I had one the other week going around taking pictures of me and all that. Like literally standing behind the door when I'm not looking, quickly take a picture and stand back, stuff like that. I was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
I can see you. I can literally see what you're doing." And he's like, "Oh, what a fucking clown! What an absolute clown!" And you get them, and you only get them on these big sites, only the
yeah.
tier one sites.
We did an Amazon, and our upper lifter. I'd barriered off the walkway so no one could come past me. And one bloke come past me and said, "I'm going to give you a green card," which meant I got a free breakfast on Friday because he were happy
Nice.
with what I'd
Well,
done.
yeah, we'll have that.
5 minutes later, another health and safety bloke walked past, red card. because I blocked off the fire exit. I said, but there's entrances that way and that way. You can come in. Said, but I've got to block it off because if anyone walks in through that door, they're underneath where I'm working. Your mate's just giving me a green card, so don't give a monkeys about him. You're getting a red card for that. I'm like, you just can't win sometimes. So he'd seen his ass that day.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Dealing with people like that is just fucking like I don't know why them people exist. They just exist to be cunts.
Yeah.
They really do. So someone says on here that you do some really informative and engaging Insta live streams. Just go into that a little bit.
I wouldn't say I do that. I go live every now and again, but who said that?
Jonathan H says Richard does some really informative and engaging Insta live streams.
Oh. I wouldn't say I did, but I know I've gone live a few times, but not much. Like I said, when you're at work, you might put it on and do a bit of a live, but I would say most of my stuff really is just recorded and chucked out. I do a bit of educational stuff on safe isolation because I'm big into that and trying to promote
bro,
that.
you're not one of them, are you? Oh,
yeah, I am. But yeah, but put me in with. I mean, I've stood on stands with Mark and done other stuff. It's just something that I think more people should be aware, especially new starters, because when you're young and dumb, you think you're not going to get a shock, and I've had them. You'll have had them. The amazing engineer Jamie will have had them. Everyone's had a belt at some point.
he invented them.
Well, he probably did, yeah. Everyone's had a belt, and it's just unfortunate that some people don't come away from it.
Here's the thing, right? And I get a lot of stick for this. Who do you know who's died from one?
Personally,
No
no
one.
one. My lecturer at college, his mate did. He went up above a ceiling.
Circumstantial evidence.
He
doesn't accept
a metal earring, a gold an earring, and the wire got caught between the earring and his ear, and he couldn't get it out, and he didn't come out of that ceiling.
Would safe isolation have helped him on that one? Not really.
Not really, no.
No. Would it fuck?
No. But I like the way they do it in Australia, where if you go in a roof void or underneath the floor, everything's got to be turned off before you can go in there. It's just perfectly safe. Well, it's perfectly safe. It should be 99% safe to work on everything then.
See me now. I actually agree with that. That is sensible. Like, because that's where a lot of these things happen. People squeeze into somewhere, get caught, and boom, they can't get out.
Yeah.
Now I get that. That makes sense. But all this safe isolation, doing like the safe isolation across all the things, and then all that, and then proving it, mate. If you don't learn that in the first couple of lessons that you have at college, what the fuck are we doing?
You do. I mean, when you do your AM2, you've got to do it in that. But then people don't. When they get, I'm not. I would say like your maintenance lads, your industrial, your commercial lads, they've got to do it because the safe systems of work that are on sites. It's domestic side that fly by the pants sort of thing. Just crack on and do it. Everyone's worked live. I've worked live. You have to sometimes.
But do you know what? When people ask me, I don't know how you do it. Like, you know, you get the customer and they go, I don't know how you do it. I'll be so scared. And I say, well, do you want to know what the secret is? Turn it off before you do anything. That's the secret to working on any electrical is turn it off. Don't have to work live. Almost never do you have to work live.
I have had it once where I'd turned it off before I were really doing my safe isolation stuff. I'd turned it all off. I'd not put a lock on it or anything, and I were working, and some dickhead came and turned it back on. And I needed a new pair of snips after that. So it can work both ways. I've been on a job where I put a lock on it over the weekend because it needed to be isolated. And when I came back, someone had cut the padlock off and turned the power back on. Now that had been isolated for a safety reason because there were exposed
Yeah, but
cables that
you
needed to
can't fix
be.
that.
No, that's just somebody who's being
That's
a
a
dickhead.
dickhead. That's a
Yeah,
dickhead. Like if you're going doing that, you're a dickhead. But this is my thing. I don't think safe isolation per se itself does anything. I think isolate for life and all that sort of stuff that's out there. I think it's all nonsense. I think if you are an electrician and you are fucking about with electrical systems live, you know the risks. You know the risks, right? You know exactly what you're getting yourself into. If you die, you die.
yeah. It's just by locking everything off, you're making sure that no dickheads can turn it back on.
But this is what I'm saying, right? I suppose it's because I work by myself a lot. I very rarely work with people, and I very rarely, so I know what's going on.
Yeah,
On my electrical system, but mind you, if I'm working on an electrical system, a shared board or something, and there's a couple of people working as well, and I lock it off, I expect that to stay locked off.
yeah,
I would then lock it off, and I would be quite happy that it's locked off. But I just think that some of this safe isolation is sort of, it's like an unnecessary thing that we're doing. Like it's an unnecessary thing to be talking about as much. It's almost like it really needs to be pointed at outside of the industry more. You'll save more outside of the industry than you will. Like any electrician worth their salt will just be like,
yeah. I
I'm
talk to
going to turn it
plumbers.
off.
I try and that's an argument. I try and educate plumbers um,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
on what they're doing. Kitchen fitters, general
yeah.
builders, them that think they know what they're doing and don't. So I just think if I put stuff out there, and if they see it, they might get educated. They might just flick by and not look at it at all. But if one or two people see it and think, yeah, I should be doing this, because they didn't know they should have been doing it or didn't know what was out there to do it, it's like if a plumber just pulls a spur, pulls a fuse out, what's to stop someone walking past and just pushing that fuse back in while they're working on a boiler? It's not really going to happen, but it could. Whereas if you've got that spur locked off, fuse out and a lock through it, it's not going to happen.
I think definitely there's a lot to be said for that. You're absolutely right. You're definitely right on that. Um, but my thing still stands. It has to be plumbers. It has to be electric. It has to be chippies and people like that. People, general builders are probably the fucking worst for it.
Yeah,
They know very little about electrical, and then they just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna have a go. So yeah, those people there, they need to really think about it. Because do you know what's surprising is how easy it is to get an electrical shock when you're working live.
yeah,
You think it's not like you think if if I'm just close to it, I'll be all right. You ain't. It'll jump and it'll shock you from a couple of mil away, and
yeah,
stuff like that. Electricity works in a very odd way. It's quite unpredictable, and it's if you're working live, the chance of you getting a shock is actually probably 50-50.
Oh, easy.
Generally, if you're working live, or at least causing a spark is 50-50.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, and then it depends. I mean, when I worked on a farm, on a production farm for a long time, and that was wet and dirty, and that, and you think, I'm stood here in wet, everything's wet through. That current's going to transfer through everything and hit me because I'm stood in a puddle, and people don't think about stuff like that. So I don't know. That's why I just bang on about safe isolation.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah,
Dread H3K teaching Sparks who worked for a company where an apprentice was killed under a sink, changing the socket. One of his co-workers turned the circuit on. He was earthed out through the top of his head on the bottom of the sink. What
shit.
a
Oh,
way to go!
yeah,
That's horrendous.
yeah. So, and that's just it. People, we're all taught it. Like I say, at college, you taught it. You do to get your gold card. You've got to do your MVQ, your AM2. You taught it again. Um, when I do my 2391, I'm guessing it'll be in that as well. So we should do it, but how many of us actually do it? Is what I say. Standing at these shows on the stand and going out to different companies and that and talking to us on site, it's amazing how many people just don't bother doing it.
Do you know
Like I
what?
say, you should know, being a spark, you should know that it's dangerous and you should be how to work around electricity and what you should be doing, but people get complacent.
Do you know what? You're not wrong. Maybe you've changed my mind a little bit with a very sort of solid way of thinking about it. I know that I'm not retarded enough to die from an electric shock. I know that. However, is it my responsibility to work in a safe manner? Maybe it is.
Yeah,
Maybe it is. Got me thinking then, you might have tamed the nonsense that's coming out of
well,
my brain.
I'm not sure about that, but if next time you're working on something, you just think about it, you think, hey, that Northerner said, this is what I should be doing.
With Betty's hot pot.
Yeah,
That's,
that's
that,
Lancashire again, not Yorkshire.
that's to the side of mountain.
Wrong side of the hill, yeah.
Wait a minute. So what side? So what is there a difference between Lancashire and Yorkshire? What's the difference?
Pennines goes down the middle. Yorkshire's God's own county, sorry, God's own county, and Lancashire's not.
What's Lancashire?
Manchester, Liverpool, that's Merseyside, isn't it? So you've got Manchester, Stockport, Bolton, Blackburn, Preston,
And what's the other side then?
York,
Lancashire.
Leeds. Oh, that's Lancashire. Yorkshire, we've got York, Leeds, Barnsley, Sheffield, Whitby, Driffield, where Mark's from, Scarborough, North Yorkshire Moors,
Leeds.
Leeds. That's
Jimmy
half an hour
Savile.
from me. Yeah. Oh, top bloke, him, isn't he?
Fucking yeah.
One of
Uh,
Davo's mates.
yeah, they're fucking bro. What was you at? You was at the thing, weren't you? You was at the ESK meetup, the first one ever, weren't you?
No, I couldn't make it down.
Oh, you missed out on that one.
I
That was
did.
fucking weird. Um, but most of the people in the ESK are weird, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm in ESK, so yeah,
Point
there's some
proven.
weirdos in there.
Point proven.
Yeah,
And it's run by someone who fixes fucking Hoovers and shit,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
weird.
What is it? I can't think of his name. What it is? No, is it? Oh, I can't think of his name.
Don't know. Don't know.
Well,
Right. So what I was going to say is, so obviously you're a man of a certain age. How are you? How old are you?
47.
47.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been on the tools for 12 years.
Do you know you're only 3 years older than me?
I know. I look twice your age.
I don't know. Fat don't crack is what they say.
So I'm getting fatter, so hopefully it won't crack.
What I'm
Forehead.
saying is, right, are you at that stage that I'm at now where the days are getting harder, right? They are. They just are. We're of a certain age now where come Thursday, Friday, you are fucking knackered.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're starting to do that fucking daytime snoozing where you all used to look at our dads at and think, why is he so old? We're
Yeah.
starting to do that now. That little fucking 20 minutes on the sofa, properly snoring it up, sore knees,
Yeah.
like getting up in the morning. My wife goes,
Walking
why,
downstairs.
bruv? My wife she goes, why do you make so much noise walking down the stairs? I'm like, bitch, if you knew what my body feels like first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
shit working.
Yeah. I'm like a clockwork doll when I go up the stairs and my knees crack that much.
Yeah, but going down the stairs in the morning is almost terrifying now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm holding onto the banister,
A
my
step at a
my
time.
hands are sore, holding onto the banister, like my knuckles and all that are sore. Like I don't know, I must have arthritis coming in my hand. One knee is always sort of ready to give out. My ankles ain't woke up yet, so they're all fucking flailing around. And all going down there like this. And she's like, why does your hand sound like sandpaper going down the banister? And I'm like, I'm holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
could
a
very
work for a
easily,
living.
yeah. But like I'm at that stage now where life is fucking starting to catch up and it's starting to get hard. And I need to get off the tools, I think.
I've I've got the same thing. I've been offered twice. I've been offered jobs assessing and teaching. Now, I still enjoy on site. I still enjoy being on the tools, but I am seriously thinking of in the next 10 years, maybe getting some teaching qualifications. I'll have to talk to Jamie and see what it's like being off the tools. But yeah, it could be a way going down, being an assessor, being a teacher, passing your knowledge on to the next lot that are coming in. But in winter you're warm, in summer you're in air conditioned classrooms. It sounds nice. It's just dealing with all the 16-year-old dickheads. I've got
Yeah,
a mate
see,
who teaches, and he says the apprentices are fantastic because they know if you go to their employer and saying he's been a dick, he can lose his job. Whereas the ones that are just there because they've picked a course and they've picked electrical, they're just knobs who just toss it off all day and don't care.
yeah, no, that's my thing. I don't know if I'm going to handle feisty little dickheads very well.
Adult learners, that'd be fantastic because they're there because they want to learn. When I went back to college, most of us were in us late 20s, early 30s, and there were a few that were in the teens that just quickly left the class because they weren't up to it. Whereas we wanted to learn, we knew this is where what we wanted to do. This is what we had to do, and we were paying a lot of money to be there. So you got your head down and cracked on, so you could
Yeah,
pass it and get on to the next one.
for the longest time, I always said that adult learners are better than the younger learners, not for any other reason than they have to be because everything relies on them getting this done so as they can earn money. They can't be shit at it because they've got to earn money for their family. They've got to make this a success. They are
Yeah,
driven in every single way to make this more of a success than anyone else. Like
yeah,
then the younger guys, they've still got the rest of their life ahead of them. We're sort of scrambling to make this a success quickly, so as we can start cooking again.
yeah,
So I've always said that not because they're innately better, but adult learners will work harder to be better quicker and will generally be better to deal with because they've got a vested interest in
yeah.
qualifying as quickly as
You've got that
possible.
life experience as well. You've already been out there and seen stuff and done stuff,
Yeah,
and so you know how to turn up to work. You know you should be on time. How to be there to turn up in the correct wearing the correct gear with the stuff. It's like you're getting up saying, "Where's your ride at?" Oh, I've left it at home. Piss off then. It's like if you can't bring the gear that you've got to be. We had a lad turned up. He was 16. He'd never made a cup of tea. I'm like, what do you mean you've never made a cup of tea? He's like, Mum makes them for me. I'm like, he's not going to last long on site then.
see,
Just
my biggest thing is turning up in tracksuit bottoms.
yeah,
And I've got a new thing that's winds me up as well, is when they turn up in tracksuit bottoms with their tracksuit bottoms tucked into their socks. I mean, what the fuck?
I still don't get it when you see lads on site. Even with work like when you wear the Komodo ones that are small, more like tucked in at the bottom, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
elasticated. But when you've got trousers on, your Snickers or whatever, and they've got the socks pulled over them and tucked in, why? Your ankles are just going to get cold.
I don't know why they do that. I think it's like a football thing or something. I think they look like I've got football training and I just want you to know I've got football training. It's like, why the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah,
Like, just get Komodo ones. Now, I've moved away from all work trousers, right? They piss me off. All work trousers piss me off because I've got a gut. So I have transitioned to wearing a very specific pair of what they call not combats, they're called yeah, maybe cargos.
yeah,
But they're tapered at the bottom. They've got elastic at the bottom, and they're tapered. And they're like slim fit. They fit nice, but they're stretchy in every way. Get them in Tesco's, £25 from Tesco's. They come in all colours, and they are the bollocks for working in. Then there's close to wearing a pair of joggers as you're going to get without looking like a tramp.
yeah. See, I
And
wear
so
Snickers. I've nearly always worn Snickers.
I've had Snickers in
Um,
the past. Years ago, me and Rick were sponsored by Snickers, and we got a couple of pairs. And I've got to say, I couldn't fault them. They just don't
yeah.
have a stretchy waist.
Well, the ones I've got the latest ones. I think the 6218s or something. The ones that have just come out, and they're quite stretchy. They've got like a four-way stretch, and so they're not baggy, but when you're bending over and up and down, they move with you, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
really good. And now I got given them. Snickers gave me a bundle of clothing um, because I went to one of the tools because I was up for Electrician of the Year, and I wore a Snickers belt with my suit. And as a thank you for doing that, I got some clothes.
Lovely. What a nice little move. But no, I use my Tesco's ones. They work fine. I turn up. People don't think, who's this tramp turned up? Do you know what I mean? I don't really like the flappy pockets anymore. I'm over that. I'm over that. I use
Well,
a pouch.
yeah, I think you take the trousers off at the end of the day, your pockets are full, and you're like, it's like a gym workout because you've been carrying that much stuff. I'm thinking about getting a vest, a tool vest, so I can put
See,
my stuff in that and then take it off.
like those tool vests, they do look the bollocks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm on that. I would join you in wearing that. I mean, it is a bit like fucking all guns blazing, but to have it there, like for a little while when I was working on the power station, I had to wear. They were flame retardant, shock resistant, orange, orange trousers and a t-shirt,
Yeah,
but they had no giving them whatsoever.
yeah.
And
I've got
because
the orange overalls from we do power stations, and they're awful to wear, aren't they?
yeah, so I started wearing Helly Hansen suspenders,
Yeah,
mate. Changed my life. I was like, I'd never wear them, but I put them on, and all of a sudden, all my problems with my trousers keep falling down every 5 seconds was gone, finished. And yes, I'll wear them if I'm wearing that sort of clothing now. I'll wear suspenders. I don't care. I know it looks fucking horrendous, and a fucking fat man wearing suspenders is like literally the low point in my life. However, the comfortability factor goes through the roof.
yeah, yeah. Snickers gave me a pair, and now I've not worn them on site, but I've worn them at home. And like I say, it's just another level, isn't it?
It's just another level of comfort that I did not
Yeah,
realize existed out there. And I've used like waist extenders, I've used like elasticated waist extenders, this belt, that belt, a bit of string. I've done the whole lot. And then I put on them and I was like, well, this is it. This what where have these been my whole life?
yeah. Well, you wear different boots as well, don't you? You don't wear boots,
So for a long
if I
time,
remember.
I didn't wear stills. I wore these boots called Nike Manoa, and they look like like any sort of normal sandy color boot, but they're actually Nike trainers, and I wore them for a long time. But then on the last job I was on, obviously it was health and safety through the roof, so I had to go back to my boots, and I wear a very specific type of boot. It's a Heroc boot.
Yeah,
So Heroc, another German brand, but these boots are phenomenal. And the way I know if a boot's gonna fuck my feet or not, and my brother always looks at me like I'm a lunatic every time I go into Screwfix. I'll go up to the boots, and if you can bend them easy, they're not going to hurt my feet. But if
yeah,
you can't barely bend them, that's going to cause me grief all day. So I'm in there bending boots. Oh, this is a good one. And my brother's looking at me like, why are you bending boots like a lunatic? But that is what I look for is a bendy boot. And the Herox, they bent very easily when I first got them.
yeah. We did a site. It was Amazon, and the health and safety block. When you got your induction, you had to take your boots off and give him to him, and he would inspect them. And if they weren't up to scratch and they didn't have midsole, steel midsole, and everything else, anti-slip, all that, you weren't getting onto site. Couldn't wear riggers, you couldn't wear dealer boots, they had to be laced up. You couldn't wear safety trainers, they had to be, but, and I'm like, so half the people that were in my induction didn't get on site that day because they all had to go off and buy new boots. And you
And
just think, you're turning your lads away that are wanting to get
when
here and do work.
when's the last time you dropped something on your toe and you were saved by your steel toe cap?
Um, Never. I did once put a gardening fork, you know, the big, like a spade that got
Yeah,
four forks. So I did put one of them straight through my boot and in between my toes once, and just missed my toes.
Right. So my thing is, and this is my theory about fucking steel toe caps, yeah. 90% of our time, we're not wearing steel toe caps. So if we drop something on our foot, we move our foot out the way really quickly.
Yeah,
So we're pre-programmed to move our foot out the way. So I've never dropped anything on my foot,
yeah.
especially my
It's
toes.
it's
And
another.
also, if you're going to drop something on your foot, it's very rarely just your toes. It's going to be the top of your foot that is
Yeah,
unprotected anyway.
we can't what's that? We did one. It was a foundry, and you had to have the boots that covered your top bit of your foot.
But
I
as
can't
you
what it's
know, as
called.
a subby, you got to go and buy them special boots. They're probably £120 a pair.
Yeah.
Ain't no one gonna go out and fucking fork out for them boots for you now.
No, did a food factory. We had to go out and buy white boots.
What?
We had to have white boots for in the food factory.
Really?
Yeah.
And no one went out and bought them for you, did they?
No, we had a word with Lass in stores and got a pair.
Oh, nice.
So because they gave them out to all their staff, and we just I can't remember what she ended up getting, but we all got a pair of boots off her.
See, that's what I mean. Like outside of that, you'd have to go and buy them yourself. Same way as you like now. Getting back to being a subby, just quickly, the the rates of pay for me are what really holds back being a subby. Now, because you probably got a good relationship, you can probably name your price to a certain extent.
Yeah,
But going to other firms and stuff like that, the price can sometimes be shocking at how little it is.
yeah,
Now, when they go, yeah, but it's more than a JRB rate. But what a lot of these people don't realise is the JRB rate's for PAYE. So they
yeah,
go, oh yeah, well the JRB rate's £17, and you'll be like, right. So why is it only 20? And they're like, well, it's £3 more than a JRB. Yeah, but that's employed.
yeah,
Fucking idiots. And they use that JRB rate. I think that JRB rate has done more to fuck Sparks over, especially subby Sparks over the years, than any other tool that these people have ever had to use.
yeah. It's not enough anyway at GIB rate. That needs looking at and lifting.
You say that though, but with all their benefits, so the basic rate doesn't seem like a lot. But after 30 hours, is it? They go up to time and a half, and then that's only for 8 hours, and then after 38 hours, they're on double time.
Right.
So a 40,
Well,
40
yeah, I
hour
suppose.
week, now you're starting to really. So you
Yeah,
do a Saturday, now you're fucking really hammering home. Plus you got Booper, you got I think you got 5 weeks holiday. You got all your other
yeah.
days paid for. So when you look at it, the JRB rate,
Actually, it's not too bad.
not too bad. It's not great if you've been with that company 20 years because you're going to hit a ceiling. It's never going to be great. But what my thing is, they take the most basic rate in the JRB rates, add £3, and they say that's the subby rate. Well,
Yeah,
fucking who said that's a subby rate? What can't come out of that fucking incredible bit of maths?
yeah. Well, that's why most of us do weekend work.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to. What I try to do is I try and keep my private jobs for a Saturday morning. So I do like if they're little easy ones, I do them after work. But Saturday morning, most Saturday mornings I'll have work to go to and do.
Yeah,
And it just changes the whole. It changes like you think working extra 4 days a month is almost another week's money, isn't it?
yeah.
And very rarely are you going to do a whole day on a Saturday.
No, and what I say is, as people say, look, if I'm not working, I'm not earning. So
This is it, yeah.
whenever I'm on tools, whenever I'm doing something, I know I'm bringing money in. I have a fortnight's holiday, or I'm not earning. I'm spending. If I have a week off because I'm ill, I'm not earning. I'm spending. So all the extra bits that you can do, all help.
Like that that time I had pneumonia. Fucking hell,
Yeah.
that was tough. Like, because they wanted me out for like 3 or 4 weeks. I was like, absolutely not. I've got to go back to work next week. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Look at Kimmy. What
Oh
does she have
yeah,
off? A month, if
poor
that.
Kimbo.
Yeah. Before she's back on. I know she's not at it full time, but she's got them lads. I like where she's doing it. It's a really good way. Get someone else to in, and you just do the basic bits while they do everything else, but it's still your job. She's clever.
But what's that?
She's not working. She's got lads working, so it's her
Yeah,
job, and
yeah.
she's just doing the basic bits, and they're doing the grunt work. So what I think one of the lads that she's got with them is like a full-on spark. Another one's a bit of a trainee, and she's just doing like the easy. She'll sit in front and put all sockets on, or while they
Oh,
do all
nice.
cabling and everything.
Yeah,
When you're
Kimmy's
back
not a
on
joke
tools and
though.
you're still earning, she's she's mad as a box of frogs.
Oh, she's
But
mental, but she's smart.
um, yeah, the time I've spent with her, when I've had days with her, it's just exhausting. But you learn quite a bit off her.
Yeah,
Not
she's
just
very
not
smart,
only electrical, but other stuff that she knows. It's yeah, she's clued up.
but she's unconventional, I'd say. Unconventional, but smart.
That's one word. That's one way of putting it. Yeah,
That's a kind way.
yeah.
Right, Richard, I've had a lovely chat with you today. I'm glad it's been a nice, normal chat. No silliness this week. We've not talked a load of old bollocks. This has been a
No.
nice, perfect chat to start the week on. Now, is there anything you want to finish up with?
Um, no. Anyone wants to know about me or help with fire or safe isolation, any questions, message me on through socials, and if I can help you, I will. Um, I'm always open to talking to people. I try and check in on people on a Friday. You know, people that are a bit down or just generally just to see how people are. It's always nice to have a message from someone asking how you are. So
I will say that you
do
did that
that,
with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you can just drop someone a message to see how they are, you don't know how much of a difference it can make to people.
Well, Rich, it's been very lovely having you on. I'm glad you've been on.
Yeah,
It's a new guest for us, and it's been a long time coming, I think. Um,
yeah.
Listen, Electricians podcast. We are out.